I'm Pete Morin, CTO here at Synagex. For the last several years, we've been completing gap assessments in CMMC and NIST for companies in the defense industrial base. At the beginning of November, the DoD released changes to CMMC, releasing CMMC 2.0. Today, I'd like to cover those changes, what it means to you, and when it should be implemented. What are some of the big changes that we're seeing in CMMC 2.0? The elimination of 2 of the maturity levels. So in CMMC 1.0, we saw 5 maturity levels. That's been reduced down to 3. All level 1 remains with just 17 basic cybersecurity practices. Level 2 is now all NIST 800-171 controls. We've reduced the level of controls down to 110, which was the standard in NIST 800-171. All level 3 is in direct alignment with level 5 now. So advanced organizations will need to meet that level 3. There's prioritization in level 2. So there's both non-prioritized data, CUI data, and prioritized. When we're dealing with non-prioritized CUI data, we're no longer required to meet a third-party audit for certification. And a prioritized, we're still going to have to work with those C3PAOs, the certified third-party organizations, to come in and certify that your organization is meeting all of those controls. Other than that, any other organization is going to meet self-attestation. Self-attestation is allowing us to return to just an officer of the organization attesting that you have met all of those CMMC controls at whichever level, 1, 2. Again, once you move on to that level 3, it'll be audited by a third party. 2 other changes to CMMC 2.0 are how POAMs and waivers are utilized. So in CMMC 1.0, the POAM was only utilized to fill the gap assessment. So identify the gaps. It was not allowed to be utilized under a contract. Under 2.0, we're now allowing that POAM to be put in place as an acceptable document to say, okay, this is our timeline of when we'll mitigate all these gaps, and the contract can be signed with that POAM in place. The same with a waiver. A waiver is similar, but it's while you're in the contract process, you may sign a waiver with that contractor saying that over this period of time, I'm asking for this waiver to submit this contract or work under this contract until which point we reach CMMC certification. With the changes of CMMC 2.0, does this mean we can just forget about certification? No, we still need to move towards certification, implement the maturity model. It's very important to still meet all of the cybersecurity practices that are listed and still document our processes and policies. Nothing that's been removed from CMMC 2.0 is saying that the process and policies should be removed, just some of the restrictions are being eased. How long will it take the process to move through the mandatory rulemaking process? So we should start seeing CMMC 2.0 approval within the next 9 to 24 months. At that point, you'll be required to meet certification to acquire a new contract. Up until that point, we're suggesting that you meet the NIST 800-171 controls. Those would be what was required at the CMMC level 1, level 3, and now at the level 2 of CMMC 2.0. When it relates to cybersecurity, what's the risk of not doing anything at all? When we started doing assessments, one of my main points was we shouldn't be doing this solely on government requirements. So cybersecurity is important for all organizations, especially as we're seeing the rise in ransomware attacks down to one-person organizations all the way up to thousands. So whether we're doing this to achieve a DoD contract or just to continue business. It's best practice to try to implement good cybersecurity hygiene. That concludes the changes to CMMC 2.0. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to an RPO, registered provider organization like Synagex.